Priority signals span identities, endpoints, applications, networks, and cloud control planes, and each environment contributes unique evidence of risk and health. Identity systems report unusual authentication patterns, privilege grants, and failed multi-factor prompts that suggest account fatigue or abuse. Endpoint agents surface process anomalies, persistence attempts, and suspicious file changes that indicate hands-on activity. Applications contribute transaction failures, latency spikes, and business rule violations that tie directly to user impact. Networks provide domain name system anomalies, egress volume surges, and exposed ports that reveal movement and exfiltration. Cloud control planes record configuration edits, key operations, and access from unfamiliar regions that shift the organization's risk posture. Selecting a concise, ranked set of signals focuses attention where it reduces harm fastest. Starting with these pillars prevents blind spots and keeps storage and analysis aligned with real decisions. Correlation rules and enrichments reduce noise by assembling context that single events cannot provide. A lone authentication failure is ordinary, but many failures from distant locations within minutes may indicate a campaign that deserves priority. Correlation can stitch together identity, endpoint, and network artifacts to reveal lateral movement or staged exfiltration. Enrichment adds meaning by attaching asset ownership, data classification, recent change tickets, and known vulnerabilities to each alert. That extra detail turns a generic message into a near plan. Who owns the system, what changed recently, and which data might be touched. Effective rules are specific, testable, and version-controlled, with sample events that show how they fire. Teams retire rules that no longer add value and promote those that consistently predict harm. The result is fewer, richer alerts that speed accurate judgment. Alert routing and on-call practices ensure the right person sees the right signal at the right time. Routing maps alert categories to responders by role, system ownership, and time zone, minimizing delays and handoffs. On-call schedules should be predictable, compensated, and supported by runbooks that reduce cognitive load at odd hours. Escalation should be time-bound and automatic, moving alerts to backup staff if acknowledgements lag. Quiet hours can suppress low-severity notifications while preserving paging for truly urgent cases. Status pages or internal channels keep stakeholders informed without distracting responders. When routing is clear and on-call is humane, burnout drops and responsiveness rises. The monitoring program then becomes sustainable because people trust the process that wakes them. Playbooks and escalation paths turn alerts into consistent action rather than improvisation. A playbook outlines first checks, likely causes, decision points, and safe remediation steps, written in plain language and validated in drills. It links to relevant dashboards, logs, and commands so responders avoid hunting for tools while time matters. Escalation paths identify specialists for databases, identity, networks, or applications, and they define when to pull them in. Playbooks should include exit criteria that signal when to hand off to incident command or revert a risky change. After each use, teams refine steps that were unclear or slow. Over time, this feedback loop shortens resolution and raises confidence. With playbooks and escalation aligned, responders spend energy solving the problem, not debating the process. Noise reduction and event deduplication keep attention on signals that change outcomes. Deduplication collapses repeated alerts from the same root cause into a single ticket with updated counts and timestamps, preventing alert storms. Rate limits and suppression windows limit chatter during well-understood incidents while preserving a heartbeat that shows continued impact. Negative signals, such as agent silent or no logs received, deserve deliberate treatment because silence is its own form of noise. Teams should measure alert fatigue by tracking unacknowledged or auto-closed notifications and then fix the rules that produce them. Removing one especially noisy rule can unlock hours of focus per week. When noise declines, responders regain curiosity, dig deeper, and learn more from each event, which drives the next round of tuning. Central logging and pipeline health underpin the entire monitoring system because broken ingestion equals missing truth. A central platform with consistent schemas makes searches reproducible and dashboards reliable. Ingestion pipelines need back pressure, retry logic, and dead letter queues so transient failures do not become permanent gaps. Health checks should track event lag, parse errors, dropped records, and index saturation with clear thresholds for action. Storage tiers balance cost and speed, keeping recent data hot for response and older data accessible for investigation and trend analysis. Access logs for the platform itself become part of assurance, proving that monitoring records are intact. By watching the watchers, teams protect the integrity of the signals that guide every other choice. Integration with ticketing workflows turns alerts into accountable work. Automated ticket creation records the who, what, when, and initial severity, while templates capture consistent fields like affected service, customer impact, and first steps taken. Linking alerts to tickets preserves history through escalations, handoffs, and shift changes. When multiple alerts describe one issue, the system should merge them into a parent ticket that tracks the overarching incident. Ticket states reflect true progress: acknowledged, investigating, mitigating, resolved. So leaders and auditors see accurate status without side channels. Post-resolution, the ticket anchors learning with a short summary of cause, corrective action, and preventative tasks. The workflow, therefore, becomes both evidence and engine for improvement. Response time and recovery metrics quantify whether monitoring actually helps. Common measures include time to detect, time to acknowledge, time to engage, time to mitigate, and time to recover, each telling a different part of the story. Tracking these over rolling windows reveals whether recent changes improved speed or only shuffled effort. Pair service level indicators like error rate or saturation with reliability targets so teams judge outcomes, not only activity. A small improvement in detection or acknowledgement can shorten incidents dramatically when compounded across dozens of events per month. Publishing metrics to a shared dashboard creates healthy pressure and celebrates gains. With measurement in place, monitoring maturely answers the question, did we get faster where it matters? Monitoring evidence and retention expectations make the program auditable without last-minute scrambles. Useful evidence includes screenshots of routing rules, on-call schedules, sample alert payloads with enrichment, playbooks with revision history, ingestion health dashboards, and tickets that show end-to-end handling. Retention policies should define how long alert data, escalations, and metrics persist, with longer windows for security-significant streams. Automation can export monthly evidence bundles to a controlled repository, reducing human burden and preserving consistency. Spot checks during quiet periods validate that exports reflect reality. When evidence is a byproduct of normal operations, reviews move quickly and trust grows, because proof arrives as part of the rhythm, not as a special event. Common gaps in tuning priorities appear across many programs and are fixable with steady attention. Teams often collect too many low-value events while missing ownership tags and severities that make alerts actionable. Correlation rules drift without version control, producing stale logic that no longer fits architecture. On-call pain signals, like frequent false pages and unclear playbooks, remain unaddressed, eroding response quality. Tuning starts with inventory and intent. Confirm priority signals, remove duplicative rules, normalize fields, and add enrichments that shorten investigation by minutes, not seconds. Each small improvement compounds, producing a calmer system and quicker outcomes. The mark of progress is quiet confidence rather than silence alone. Operational readiness and staffing make monitoring durable. Clear roles separate signal engineering, content tuning, and frontline response while encouraging rotation so skills stay fresh. Training covers tools, playbooks, and communication with short simulations that build muscle memory without draining schedules. Capacity planning aligns alert volume, on-call size, and project load so responders have time to improve the system they support. Peer reviews of new rules and thresholds spread context and reduce single points of failure. Leaders protect focus by limiting after-hours noise and recognizing the invisible work of prevention. When staffing and readiness are intentional, monitoring remains effective through turnover, growth, and changing technology. Reliable, actionable monitoring feels calm even when the environment is busy. Priority signals are selected with care, thresholds express intent, enrichments add context, and routing puts alerts in capable hands. Playbooks guide the first hour, ticketing preserves the story, and metrics prove improvements rather than merely claiming them. Evidence and retention live alongside operations, not outside them, and gaps shrink through patient tuning. In that state, teams move faster with fewer surprises, customers experience steadier service, and auditors see a program that works every day. That is the ION spirit applied to monitoring. Simple, deliberate practices that turn visibility into timely, trustworthy action.